Greetings, Earthlings. How's it going? This is Dice Squad. My name is Marshall Dice, known as Adam Campbell.
General Dice, Todd Evangelista.
And this is the only show broadcast even on the planet Mars, or as the Martians say,
Live long and prosper.
So what do we have this time, General?
We have Mars Attacks 10-minute takedown from Steve Jackson Games. And hang on, it's a little hard to pronounce who did the game design. Concept was by Steve Jackson, of course, but it was Sam Mitchke and Randy Schuneman who actually designed the game. And this is a dice flicking game, but it seems like we have some Mars Attacks memorabilia.
Well, we do because if you didn't know this, General, I am a big fan of Mars Attacks. If you haven't already guessed, back in 2012, they had a re-release of all the old cards that were released back in 1962.
Wow.
There was a set of 55 cards created by Lee Brown and Wally Gilman. And they were released by Topps. And the interesting thing about these cards is that they depicted Martians coming to Earth and just wrecking the place up with giant monsters, insects, and all sorts of gore and mayhem. And actually, the funny thing is that when they released these cards on newsstands and that when kids would bring them in and trade them, the teachers did not like all this gore and violence, and they were outraged by it, hence Topps pulling these cards off the shelves. And actually, funny thing is that the creators actually got lots of letters from the students talking about how horrible these cards are and how they're a mockery and stuff like that. And then they would also get letters back saying, we didn't write these letters. Our teachers made us write these letters. We actually love all your cards and stuff like that. But it's really cool. But coming back in full force in 2012, they had a comic book series with the new cards. They also did new deleted scene cards and even new scenes from the comic book as well.
Now, I should also mention that there's not just the 10-minute takedown, there's also a Mars Attacks, I think, card game from Steve Jackson. I don't own it, so I have to check it out yet. And then there's also what I saw at Gen Con was the miniatures that you can have the battle between the Earthmen and the Martians. And for that, Gen Con, the producers of the game, for the miniatures game, had a miniature White House set up, but it was all busted up and on fire. And then they had all the Martians coming in and all the other people firing from the White House. And you get for that game, you get a bunch of minis for, I think it was like $150, something like that. And I was like, well, that's too rich. But I loved their little Martian guys. And they were like, well, for $10, you can get 10 Martians. And I was like, well, I'll come back.
You never came back.
You can't come back. There was no chance to come back at Gen Con. I didn't even know where they were after that.
Well, actually, when I went to New York Comic Con last year with a few friends of mine, I actually stopped by the Topps trading card booth.
Oh, yeah.
And I was able to get the Mars Attacks bodysuit shirt with
the jetpacks or whatever on the back.
Jetpacks on the back.
Yeah, they're what, oxygen tanks or whatever.
Or their ray gun. I don't know particular. This is another one of my favorite collectibles is my Mars Attacks bobblehead I got for Christmas one year. And I also got, with the new set of cards, there was also sketch cards put into the packs. And I was able to score one.
Oh, wow.
Along with a few of the cool 3-dimension Mars Attacks cards.
Yeah, wow. Good. Now, of course, I remember the Tim Burton movie.
Absolutely. Also in 1996 was released.
Yeah. I liked Ed Wood better, but, that was a nice one. That was a nice one. If you get into it, if you like the theme, I think it was a parody, and it had some humor to it. All right.
Well, General, how do we play? I'm excited. How do we play this game?
Well, we need some room. So
all right.
I don't want to mess up your cards there.
Let me pull some cards out of the way here.
Now, this is your flying saucer.
Okay.
And then these are our targets. Now, here we go. We're going to keep them close so you can see them in the
now,
camera.
if you notice, General, actually, quick history fact for you. All these pictures are actually covers of the new Mars Attacks run that they did back in 2012.
Right, and we should mention also the comic book from IDW. Originally, when they did the cards, they weren't advertising anything. There wasn't. They had, of course, knowledge of the EC comic books, and weird tales, strange this, that, and the other, and they took those images and they just did it. They didn't say, oh, well, this will average, like nowadays, if you have a movie, you get some trading cards for it, and it's all one big franchise. They just said, hey, look at this artwork. We'll put it out as trading cards. Well, that's never going to happen again. But anyway, so we should talk about the IDW put out the comic book, and now we have our game. What you do is you take your little saucer, and you have to keep it by where you're sitting. Now, then we're supposed to only have one more than player, but I thought it'd be cool to see the artwork. So then you flick your dice, you aim it, and flick it. Too far. Now, I'm going to have to come back this way, and that's where my new shooting position is. Now, this is your shooting position, so you go and you're going to try and get on any one of the circles. Well, that's going to be difficult for you to shoot from. Let's say that went off the board and you got to start back here.
Okay.
All right. Now, I'll shoot backwards. I don't mind. Boom. Oh, not too good. All right, now that goes there.
It's kind of like marbles almost.
Yeah, you're really shooting, but once we get on there, oh, that's a good shot. You get to go again. Since it didn't leave your saucer, you get to go again. No good. All right, now I get to go here. Yes. All right, now I got onto the wheel. That means I get the largest wheel available, which makes that a harder target to hit. But before we look at it, we check the die. Die says saucer. The target I hit was robots. So if I had robots on the die showing, I would have made this flip over and gotten an extra bonus point. Right now it's 1-0. This guy comes back to me. Now there's your shot.
All right. For Mars.
See, oh, you get to go again. Didn't leave. Didn't get go again. Didn't leave. Okay. Oh,
come on.
It's tougher than it looks, isn't it?
It is.
All right, I'm gonna go for another easy one. I'm gonna go for the one you're going at. Missed it. I'll have to shoot backwards again. Okay, there you go. You gotta.
All right, last one.
You gotta flick it in. Oh, and it's worse than you started. All right, so I'm gonna take this. Watch. No, it doesn't count. I'm off the thing, so it doesn't count. You have to be totally on the ring. You can't be hanging off.
All right, one last time.
And it's off the table, folks. So there you go. Now let's talk about some of the strategies and things that they put together with this game. It's easy to get these large rings. Well, for me, not for the marshal there. But
thanks, General. What
happens is after you take a few of these larger ones, and it's supposed to be 10-minute takedown. No. When you get down to just these little ones here in the center, number one, those bonus points are going to mean so much, and you have to be so very careful flicking that die to get right in the center. And if it hangs off a little bit, it doesn't count at all. And look, I was able to retrieve the die. So
how did you do that?
I have very talented feet underneath the table. I was able to just go like that. Anyways, here we go. But see, to try and do this, you really want to go and try and just get as close as you can. But as soon as you get close, you end up just keep going around and around the circle. But if you can pick, if a person has a lot of these circles, but you can pick up 3 of the little ones, that's 9 points, possibly more. Could be up to 12 points. That's a game changer right there. In any case, that is the game. Very simple, very quick. It's nice and portable with the Steve Jackson box. And the only thing is table space. It takes up a lot of table space. But, you can play 4 players, and when you do, those dice are flying all over the table. I really wish they would have had an extra die in there, though, for just one person can be looking under the table for the die while the other person is shooting. And that way you'd always have an extra one.
Well, I would say, why not have them make something different than the little flickers? Why not have something in the box that lets you flick the die more easily than these little circles? That's my only problem with this game.
Interesting. You know what might even be cool is if the saucer were a catapult.
Or catapult or something like that. That way, flicking the die is you're not gonna go flying off the table, and you're gonna have to use your awesome feet to grab the die.
Everything for this is a dexterity game, and I don't own a lot of dexterity games. Loop and Louie and all the favorites that people love of these dexterity games, I just don't really get into them. I like this one because the art, and I thought, it's pretty simple to play, and you can just bust out a game very quickly, and so I was sold on it pretty quickly.
Well, I like Mars Attacks, so you had me sold when you brought it out. Yeah. Mars Attacks 10-minute takedown, sold.
And okay, it's simplistic, but it covers the. It gets you into the mood of destroying the Earth, and that's also the other thing. You're playing on the side of the Martians.
Well, the best side of the world.
So that's pretty cool too. But anyway, so that is our simple game of Mars Attacks 10-minute takedown. We'll eventually be getting you some more Mars Attacks stuff as we go here.
Absolutely, but General, our score: 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. For any Martian out there, how would you rate this game?
Goes on a little long for what it is, but I like it. I'm going to go 6.5. 6.57.
6.57.
I could be talked into 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, but I'm bad at it though, so
Well, you're better than me.
Flicking that thing.
I love Mars Attacks, so I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 because I like the game.
I think they did a good job with the production too. It's all cardboard and a die, but it's stellar.
All that in a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Well, we have some cities to destroy here, but from all of us at Dice Squad and all those Martians out there, we salute you. This is Marshall Dice, known as Adam Campbell.
Todd Evangelista, General Dice. I'm coming for you, Toledo.
And we say,
I concur.